Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Under the Helmet podcast. I'm your host, not Tamara Morrison. And today we're going to teach you about the book of Boba Fett and how to ride like a Bantha. So stay tuned for that. How we doing today? How we doing today? Doing pretty good, huh? Yeah, keep laughing. All right, I'm going to take my helmet off now. That's right, the moneymaker.
You see my face.
You can see my face. It's the moneymaker.
All right, I'm gonna cut that bit out just to preserve my voice, because if I did an entire episode talking like Tamara Morrison, I would die. I wouldn't be able to talk the next day. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Under the Helmet podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And today we are talking Book of Boba Fett episodes 2 and 3. You know, kind of a mixed reaction in the fandom, but we're going to get down to the bottom of it. So who's ready?
I am very ready.
Let's start with you. What did you think of episode 2? We'll start there.
I freaking loved it. Arguably one of my favorites of the series.
Same here. Episode 2, in my opinion, so today is recorded the day after episode 3 came out. So I personally have enjoyed every episode of the show so far, but episode 2 is definitely my favorite. You got a lot of backstory. You got to see Boba becoming more with the Tusken tribe. You got to see the Pikes for the first time, their actual like fish faces, which was kind of crazy. You know, I never thought the Pikes actually looked like that, but that's pretty cool. Also a lot with the climb story coming up. So I want to talk, the biggest reveal of episode 2 probably was, of course, Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
And I was honestly really excited. I was kind of blown away. I remember Black Chrysanthemum from the Obi-Wan comic that came out a few years ago. That was kind of like a spin-off of the mainline series. But basically, it's the comic where Obi-Wan is forced to help fight Black Chrysanthemum because he kidnaps Owen Lars. And it was a really good story. It was a really good comic. I really enjoyed it. And to see Black Chrysanthemum come out, like I saw the shoulder armor and I was like, no way, like that, there's no way. And like, then he came out and I like screamed in my apartment, was like, oh my God, it's Black Chrysanthemum. And everybody was, and all of my neighbors just collectively groaned. It's like, oh, he's watching Star Wars again. But yes, Black Chrysanthemum, huge reveal for comic fans. Everybody was happy to see your boy Black Chrysanthemum.
Just looking fine as hell.
Absolutely. The model, he actually looked really good. Like I thought the costume was really good. It was really well done. And we see a lot more of him in episode 3. In episode 2, he's kind of just, standing around looking menacing. But, episode 3, he puts in the work. And this is full spoilers. We can talk full spoilers at this point. Everybody kind of knows, had time to see the episodes. So go ahead. What is your biggest takeaway from these 2 episodes? What was the biggest thing you liked?
Well, you see, we got episode 2. He's just standing there, menacingly. And then
He's just standing there, menacingly.
And episode 3 gave us one of the biggest jump scares that Star Wars has had, of just back to Bath stops. Rip. Rah. Oh shit.
I have to say, so that fight scene was absolutely insane. And I went back and I've rewatched both episodes now. Episode 2 I've rewatched I think twice. Episode 3 I've rewatched it once. And I was blown away with that fight scene because that was very like, so apparently according to some interviews, I think it was Ming-Na Wen said that they did like 80% of their stunts. Like the actors did the stunts. And that was really cool. Like you could definitely see Boba's desperation in that fight, and Boba's, like he got, if you get ripped out of bed in the middle of the night by a giant Wookiee who's gunning for your head, trying to squeeze you to death, like you're going to be in panic mode. So When he goes up, he grabs his gauntlet. He just put his gauntlet on, doesn't work, and then he grabs the gaffy stick, which I honestly was surprised. I didn't know what happened to the gaffy stick. We didn't really see it after Mando season 2, where it was first kind of introduced. So it was really nice to see that again. I'm really glad he still has that.
The gaffy stick, breaker of helmets.
That gaffy stick is awesome. I want one. Gonna be constructing one eventually. I would love to see him incorporate it like in his actual armor, but I don't think it would like work with his setup. Although Mando had the spear with his jetpack, so I'd love to see that eventually become a thing where Boba carries that gaffy stick with him as kind of his daimyo fit. But yeah, it was a good episode. Episode 2. Episode 3 was kind of a mixed bag for me. It started off really strong with everything going on, and then it kind of petered off near the end, in my opinion. It wasn't my favorite episode of the series, but it had enough to keep me invested in the story. And I'm very interested. Yes, I'm very interested to see what the biker gang does. I think they're going to be an interesting addition to the show. Some people said they look like the Power Rangers, which you're not wrong. They do kind of like the Power Rangers, but I'm intrigued because Boba is definitely building up his crime family, his crime syndicate right now.
Oh yeah.
He's got his second in command with Fennec. He's got his Gamorrean guards, who those are some ride or die Gamorreans. One of them got freaking bit by Black Chrysanthemum. Like he bit a Gamorrean. Like he was trying to get some of that Gamorrean bacon. And those Gamorreans, they're some ride or die. Those are some ride or die boys right there.
I like them. They're good.
We stand Gamorreans on this show now. Gamorrean centered podcast. But those were great. And then the biker gang also swooping in to help out. And I honestly was kind of surprised that they were able to that they came in to help so eagerly. I thought, they would be kind of an uneasy alliance. I'm like, you want us to fight that thing? But no, they jumped right in. Especially that girl with the robot arm. She had some hands with that little vibro dagger.
Oh yeah.
She was sticking Chrysanthemum up.
I like her arm. Her arm is cool. And the one guy with the eye, I like his eye.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. Sorry, it's an expression.
It's all good, man. I paid good money for my eye. I'm proud of it.
No, I thought that was pretty cool. I can't wait to see where this show goes. And it's episode 3 of 7. So there's still a lot that's coming from this movie. And there's been some backlash online. There's been some people that aren't very happy with the show. And I can kind of understand where some of them are coming from, where it is a very slow burn type show where, some people would be very like turned off by that. Some people want like upfront, in your face, like fast paced storytelling, but this is a very much a slow burner. It's a crime family drama. And I think that it's being done pretty well. Episodes 1 and 2, I thoroughly enjoyed. 3 is probably my least favorite of the season, but only because 1 and 2 were so great. 3 is kind of like lowered by comparison. And also, the one thing I did not like was that chase scene through Mos Eisley. I mean, I can't really defend that one. I'll forgive a lot of the sins of the show until it's complete, but that chase scene was kind of underwhelming, to say the least.
It felt like they were going very slow.
It did. It felt like I could have run faster than them, and I am not a fast runner. I do not have great cardio. My sister will definitely tell you that. But I think that it could have been done differently. And I think, I heard somebody on Lightsaber Radio say this about how on their weekly breakdown of how, it was probably shot really fast. And then they went into editing and they were like, oh, this, it didn't come out all that well. So they had to kind of slow it down to make people understand what was going on. but it kind of ended up with the scene feeling very like slow paced, like. And there's ways to shoot that and make that more exciting, but I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting enough, although I feel like somebody is gonna kind of take the piss out of it and be like, oh, you've got Fennec with a sniper rifle, you've got Boba with a jetpack, but no, we're gonna send our minions to do it. Which I would argue actually is kind of like a crime lord thing to do.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like all season long, Boba's getting like, well, where's your litter? Where's your servants? Where's your like, you're not doing this a typical crime lord way. So instead of, chasing him down on the jetpack and disintegrating people with his rockets, he's like, go get him. Kind of like sending his lackeys to do his job. And I mean, they did their job. They caught Major Domo. So there is that. But honestly, Boba's got a new Rancor. We got to talk about the Rancor.
Oh, we got to talk about who came with the Rancor.
Yes. So go ahead. Who came with the Rancor?
My boy, Danny Trejo.
Machete in space. Machete 2. Rancor Pit. That was honestly a really great addition to the show. I enjoyed seeing Danny Trejo there because I just personally enjoy him as an actor. I follow him on Instagram. He talks about Trejo's Tacos. Absolutely love it.
There you go.
Love the Machete movies. I think it's a great addition to the show. I'm excited to see what he brings. He's got such a very unique style of acting where like he'll say something and the whole time you're like, is this guy, being genuine or is he trying to kill me? Like he's always got that little bit of edge to his voice where he's like, what's wrong with the Rancor? He's depressed. Well, shoot, is he? Like, poor guy.
Yes.
So I wonder if that Rancor is sort of a Trojan horse. I've seen some memes about that where they're like, the Rancor is kind of like a Trojan horse, maybe, or even better, it's a true gift, and my boy Boba Fett is gonna ride that Rancor like a boss.
Bantha.
Like a Bantha. Yes. So that is definitely my favorite thing to come out of episode 2 is the like a Bantha. It's so beautiful. I gotta pull that up real quick for people to hear. Just the pure sound effect of
like a Bantha.
All right, ready? Like a Bantha. Just beautiful. That if I get like a clip thing, that's gonna be one of my clips. Is just, hey, do this like a Bantha. Just absolutely hilarious. Such a funny scene of Boba training the Tuskens how to ride speeder bikes. So overall, I'm enjoying the show. I think it's a really good show, and people are being sort of unnecessarily tough on the show. Which, I mean, it's Star Wars. You're going to have your haters. You're going to have your detractors. You're going to have your people that aren't necessarily as big a fan as the show as, say, you or I. But, I respect their opinion in the sense that, like, but I also say, hey, guys, wait a minute, time out. We are 3 episodes in to a 7-episode show. Like, I'm going to compare it to another show that I really like, Daredevil. Love Daredevil. But 3 episodes into Daredevil, if on your first time watching, you're kind of like, okay, this is new. This is exciting, but like, it's a slow burn. It's a slow build. And that definitely turns some people off, I think. But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I also know a lot of people that are very hardcore Boba Fett fans. And to them, they're kind of like, well, this isn't the Boba Fett of Legends. And this isn't the Boba Fett I read about. This isn't the Boba Fett I grew up with. And that's very true. I think it's, the idea of, the character has taken a different turn in canon. But I kind of like this new direction for Boba, personally. What do you think?
I like it. I like what he's got going on.
And I think with Boba Fett, the reason I like it so much was in the original trilogy, he never really did anything for me. Like
Well, they do anything.
a lot of people love Boba Fett. I actually didn't become a Boba Fett fan until The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I've read some of the legends. I've dabbled in legends. I would say I am by no means a legends expert, but I've dabbled in legends. So I have some idea of what goes on in the legends. I just wasn't a fan of Boba Fett in Legends. He always seemed kind of overpowered. And just like, as an old man, he's whooping Jaina Solo, who, for those that don't know, Jaina Solo was Han Solo and Princess Leia's daughter and was one of the best, swordsmen in the new Jedi Order. He basically whoops her behind in like a fight as like a really old man, which, don't get me wrong, that's pretty cool. But like, eventually a character's got to hit their limit. And for a non-force sensitive, it's getting kind of tough. So to see him kind of mellow out and sort of mature with age as a character, I think that's really great. And then to have him come out of the Sarlacc as a new man and kind of like, a little bit calmer and a little bit more collected. And he's not so much like, I mean, a lot of people say that, oh, the guy that came in episode 3, the water tax guy, and was like, well, to be honest, nobody respects you. Like old Boba Fett would have just shot him right there. He would have been like, respect this. But I think what's great about it is that Boba's just like, yeah, you got a point, because I've been in positions of leadership and positions where people are just like, hey, like, we don't respect you as a leader. And it's like, that's a tough blow. Like, it kind of makes you mad. I've been there. I would not want to be in that position again. But at the same time, it's all about how Boba learned to earn that respect. And he's taking the harder route of, hey, I don't want these people to fear me. I want these people to respect me. So respect is earned. It's not given. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, the old shoot first, devil's bounty hunter. I've heard that phrase a lot, Boba Fett. And that's just not who this character is anymore. And I think that it's great to explore the new Boba Fett. So I personally enjoy it. Kind of like how he repainted his armor. He's repainting and rebranding himself as well. And that's why he's becoming a crime lord. That's why he's saying he's not a bounty hunter. That's why all these things are happening, because he's rebranding himself because of his experience with the Tuscans. He's learned a better way to live life versus just kind of living in the shadow of his father. Like, that's what that vision in episode 2 kind of means to me, is that, he's living in the legacy of his father as a bounty hunter, where he didn't really have a choice. Because, I mean, after his father died, he sort of only knew bounty hunting, so he fell back on bounty hunting. Like in the Clone Wars, you see him working with Aura Singh, working with Bosk, trying to get revenge. When, this is a character that's been driven by his father his entire life, and, lived trying to live up to the legacy of his father. And part of that is learning, hey, this is a self-destructive path to try to please a man who's long dead. This is trying to please somebody who I physically cannot please anymore. Like this guy is dead. He's been dead for years. I can no longer please him. And that's something my father, actually, a lesson my father tried to teach me, but I've only recently kind of grasped. So I guess that's why I see things differently, was the idea of, because he told me when my grandfather passed, he said, I realized at that point I had been living a lot of my life trying to prove myself to him. And he said, when in reality, I should have been living for myself. So I think that's sort of the direction Boba is taking, to kind of put it on a personal level, is that idea of, hey, I'm doing things in a new way to live for myself. And that's what that experience has showed him. Go ahead.
I can agree with that. You have a lot of personal insight, and I feel like that reflects really well on what the show's talking about.
And I mean, that could just be me imprinting myself onto the character and onto the story. But isn't that what good characters do? Isn't that a sign of good storytelling, is where you can see yourself in that character, where you can learn values and morals from these characters and take something from the story.
I can agree with that.
But yes, let's see. What have we hit? We've hit Black Chrysanthemum, we've hit the Rancor, we've hit Danny Trejo, the boy. Fennec Shan. All right, so we haven't really talked about the Pikes that much.
Not really.
Let's talk about the Pikes.
They're fish people.
They are.
Those little fishy looking faces.
They do. They kind of look like a mixture of like a fish and a cat. It's like really weird.
Yeah.
Like and I know everyone's like, oh, like a catfish. No, not like a catfish. Like a genuinely different kind of character entirely. I think it's cool. I like the design under the mask.
Yeah.
But so what that means, though, retroactively, is that every Pike that we've ever seen is wearing those masks. So that means those boys are running around huffing that spice 24/7. Because aren't those like spice masks pretty much, or are they just like regular masks?
I think those are breathing apparatus masks because it is not like their homeworld of Obadiah.
Yeah, but then it raises the question, well, why is the one not wearing his mask able to breathe on Tatooine? Maybe I wonder if they can go a certain amount of time without the mask, and that's why he's walking around without the mask on. Maybe. I don't know. It's pure speculation, pure theory. So take that with the highest grain of salt, because I don't know Star Wars. Just kidding. I know a lot. Dang it.
The train heist. The train heist gave me heavy Lawrence of Arabia vibes, and I love that.
Absolutely. That train heist was awesome. So well done.
And it got driven by General Grievous.
Absolutely. That little droid reminded me a lot of like something you'd see in Attack of the Clones.
Oh yeah.
Like a very like goofy prequel style droid. And I loved that. I loved the whole like personality he had. And then when he jumps out of the train, he's just like, whoop, peace. Like jump, hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Weeps.
Time to abandon ship.
Oh, dude, that was the funniest meme. I sent him a meme with that earlier, where somebody imposed General Grievous's dialogue over that droid, where right as he goes to jump out, it's like, time to abandon. I can't do Grievous. It's like, time to abandon ship. Jumps out, jumps in the desert, crawls away.
It would have been great if we had seen him like spider crawl away into the desert.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna sound kind of cringe for a second, but follow me on this one. So, have you ever seen Rick and Morty, or at least the meme of Rick and Morty? There's a scene in it where Rick has a robot that all it does is passes butter, and it's like a little robot. It's like what is my purpose? It's like, you drive the train. Oh my god. And then he gets out. I'm free.
I am free.
I am free now to roam the sands as I please. What would have been really funny is if like right after he jumps out and he's like running away, like a post-credit scene of just the little guy like twirling in the sands. If some Tusken just runs along and like bats him, it's like boop.
Oh, better yet, we just see, because the crate dragon is still alive at that time.
Oh no, not the crate dragon. I honestly thought the creature in episode 1 was going to be a crate dragon for a minute. And I was going to be like, oh no, not the crate dragon. And same thing with the train. I thought although in my mind, anything in the sands of Tatooine is just a crate dragon at this point.
They're scary as
the train sounded like a crate dragon. It actually did.
I've played a lot of Star Wars tabletop games. And at one point, me and my crew, we are flying over Tatooine. And they're like, we are detecting a massive life form following us. And we're like, what do you mean massive life form? And they're like, it's bigger than our ship. And so we get out the rear viewport And we do that just in time to see this mouth jump out of the sands, ready to like launch on our ship. So we had to pull away from that very fast. I think it did damage our our engines. We ended up having to dock at Anchorhead. But that shit just
That's terrifying.
never again.
Mando season 2 really made the Krayt Dragon like super terrifying. So one of my favorite Star Wars books, probably my favorite, is Kenobi. And there's a scene in Kenobi where he takes down a Krayt Dragon. And to go back with the mental image of that and just to see that in my head, it's like, that is cool.
Oh yeah.
So Kenobi, John Jackson Miller, great book. If you haven't read it, do it. Book recommendations from Under the Helmet.
I haven't, but I need to.
It's such a great book. It's really well done, and I don't know. I just really enjoyed the book. Like, I can go back, and that's one of the few books I can actually go back and reread, because it's definitely full of little like nudge, nudge, nudge moments of like, hey, here's this random guy in the sand, and he's wearing a brown cloak. Nudge, 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 and it's like, oh no, the Tusken Raiders are attacking, but oh no, quick, Ben's lost in the room all by himself. Oh no, he doesn't even have a gun. And he comes in and all the Tuskens are dead. And they're like, what happened? You won't believe it. They started shooting each other. And it's like, wow, Ben, that's really weird, as he tucks his hand into his cloak. It's little things like that. Great book. Amazing. I might go back and reread it now, just because. Anywho's, moving on. After the train and the Pikes, so then now the Pikes are going to be the main villain because the Hutts bounced. Oh, that's another thing we need to talk about, the Hutts. So we get to see Hutts again for the first time in a while.
Yep.
And I honestly think the worst job in Star Wars would be to carry around a Hutt on that pedestal thing. Those guys were struggling. I would not want to be those guys.
Because like Hutts are not light by any means.
And then you got to carry 2 of them?
Oh yeah, that must suck.
Couldn't be me. I'd love to get set like before a Hutt, and they're just like, you have a choice. They're like, you can either fight in the gladiator pits or carry us around. I'm like, fuck gladiator pit.
Let's go.
Gladiator pits. I ain't messing with that. You can black your Sanson me. You can give me those not Galva knuckles. Give me whatever you gotta give me. Just do not. I ain't carrying you boys. Way too heavy. It's like, oh, you want me to bounty hunt for you? Say less. Like, I'll be a bounty hunter. I'll do whatever it takes. I just ain't carrying you.
I can do it. I mean, I got the fit.
Exactly. You've got the fit. I've got the helmet. I've got a blaster right here. Hold on. I keep that thing on me just in case. DL44. I keep it on me just in case. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Some Sleemo want to run up on me. But yeah, so carrying a Hutt ain't it. And then I'm genuinely excited to see where this show goes. And I'm still very interested because there's a couple places I could see it going. But I think that it's going to be, I think it's going to end with a banger, Tamara Morrison has teased a big cameo in the last episode, which, I mean, could be anybody. I'm not even going to speculate because, honestly, I want to be surprised.
I like the surprise.
I like the surprise where, I've heard some speculation. Some people have said a lot of things. I am a very big advocate of speculating responsibly. Because after The Last Jedi, where I speculated like crazy, like I could probably tell you every Snoke theory, every Palpatine, Rey's a Kenobi, like all this stuff that just completely went out the window.
Well, she was originally a Kenobi.
we don't know what she was. They were just kind of all over the place with that. They were throwing ideas at a wall at that point and just trying to see what stuck. Which we'll get into the sequels another day. They're not my favorite, but I don't dislike them as much as I used to. They've grown on me. But we'll table that for another day. Basically, I think that when it comes to speculating about anything, whether that be Star Wars or Marvel, there's a certain level of joy to go in completely that I get going in completely blind. Like going into No Way Home, I knew almost nothing.
Yeah.
I had seen so going into No Way Home, just a slight sidetrack. All I knew about was the leaked photo of Andrew Garfield, which he denied. And I had like spoiled the day before that like Matt Murdock was going to show up. And why that's relevant is that before that, I knew nothing about the movie. I was going in with almost no expectations, and I was blown away. And I mean, that's not how everybody does their fandom, but that's how I did it. And that's how I've been doing it. And honestly, I've been thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, you're judging a work on its merit as a work and not on its merit of being a part of something. Like I judged Spider-Man on the basis of it being Spider-Man, not this is, this movie in the MCU and, this and that. It was, okay, I'm judging this movie based on its merits and the merits of the previous movies that tie into it. And the same thing with Book of Boba Fett. Like I'm judging it simply based off how the show is right now and kind of curbing my expectations of what Boba Fett is and who he was in Legends, because I don't have a stronger connection to the character, I will admit. So there are some people that have had very strong Boba Fett connections that are kind of upset, which I understand. But I say to those people, give it a chance. Trust the process. Is it frustrating to see a character that you love, doing things in a way that you personally don't think they would handle things? Yes. But again, I say give it time, because judge it on its full merits. Don't judge it just on the basis of, 3 episodes. It's a show. It's gonna have its ups and downs. It's gonna have its peaks and valleys. Some people might really resonate with the street gang. They might think, hey, I really like these characters. This is a cool group. I want a street gang show now. If you want that, great. If you don't, cool. But the best part is just don't watch it if you don't like it. Like at a certain point, you can just say, turn it off. And that can be difficult when it's a character you love. So yeah. I do understand. But at the end of the day, it's a fictional universe about space wizards for 12-year-olds, to quote George Lucas. And at a certain point, we have to learn to separate ourselves from what we watch and say, okay, that was a show. I enjoyed it. And then leave it at that. You got any more thoughts? You got any thoughts on that?
No, you got me. That's good.
It's tough because I've come to really enjoy Boba Fett, and I've come to, appreciate the character, but I'm also appreciating the new direction he's going in. So I do sort of have a cleaner slate than lifelong fans of the character. So I don't want to sound like I'm discounting their feelings or their perspectives on things, because that's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you kind of have to look at things and say, okay, this is how the character was. This is how the character is nowadays. And nobody is stopping you from having a headcanon that falls somewhere in the middle. Like, I know some people that are like, hey, I'm not a fan of, I've followed some creators that have said, hey, we don't think the canon and legends are mutually exclusive, where as long as they don't directly contradict, they can actually mesh together and interact with each other. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool. I think as the canon becomes more fleshed out, that's going to be harder to do,
Right.
but it's not impossible. And it's nice to just enjoy things for what they are and not enjoy them for what I theorized they would be. So that's just my personal way of looking at this stuff. And everybody's different. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. What I do enjoy about it, though, is that you can tell the cast had a good time making the show. And like Tamara Morrison, for example, absolutely loving it, living his best life. You can tell he's genuinely happy. He's putting an energy into the character that is refreshing to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a cold, dark protagonist, like there's stuff like that where a protagonist like that works. But it's so easy to be like, okay, it'd be really cool to see Boba be just like, the man with no name for like an episode or two. And here's the thing, he may go back to that. He may be like, hey, this whole crime lord thing ain't working out. I'm tired of getting disrespected like that. I'm going to go disintegrate Mok Shaiz, show him who's boss. Which, personally, I kind of hope happens because that guy is a dick.
He's a dick. I don't like him.
Mok Shaiz, the mayor of Mos Eisley.
Yep. No, I get you.
Honestly, wrist rocket, disintegration, go for it, Boba. Back on your BS one more time. Just torch that man.
When he said that he wanted to rule with respect.
You're going to get some respect. You're going to respect these wrist rockets. But anyways, with that being said, do you have any final thoughts for the episode?
I'm just, waiting on seeing where it goes and riding into the rest of the series. Like a bantha.
I am too. So I definitely agree with that, where I'm definitely gonna, follow the series as it goes and see where it ends. That's what I'm looking forward to, is seeing where this story goes, where it ends, and I'm just along to ride. Like a bantha. Like a bantha. What do you mean by that? I mean that like a bantha. We're gonna ride off into the sunset and finish this episode strong on a positive note of give it time, trust the process. It will all work out in the end. And when we look back on it, we're gonna be like, hey, overall, slow start, knocked it up to 11. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you again for watching another episode of Under the Helmet podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to get more podcast videos like this. And if you ever want to be a guest on the show, I'm going to put it out there that you are more than welcome to join us. Shoot us a DM on Instagram. You can either DM the main Under the Helmet page. You can DM him or you can DM me, whichever. We will answer you, and we'll be more than happy to have people on the show. We can talk Star Wars, talk Book of Boba Fett, talk Marvel, DC, talk whatever you want. This show is a variety podcast, and I want it to be, based off variety, so where we can build a community of people that can talk about what they enjoy and find the positive side of fandom. That's another thing I want to add to my statements from our previous video, our origin story, where I talked about what I wanted this page to be in this channel. I really want it to be a positive place for people to gather and talk about what they like, have respectable discourse, which some places have that, some places do not, but we're going to focus on the positive side of the discourse of, hey, we may not like everything in the show, we may not like everything in the episode, but at the end of the day, we're still going to be respectful, we're still going to be kind, and at the end of the day, we're going to trust the process. It's all going to work out. Just gotta believe, man. Just gotta believe. Call me a hippie. I don't care. I am. All right. Take it easy. Have a good one. And this was another episode of Under the Helmet.
See y'all
Ready?
around.
Gonna take the helmet off. I'm gonna put mine on if I can put it on straight. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and